Show me a woman that's got a good man. Show me. I wanna see a woman out there claim she's got a good man. Show me. Show me a woman that's got a good man. Show me a woman that's got a good man. Show me a woman that's got a good man. Show me a woman that's got a good man.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Director's Cut. Acclaimed Hollywood director Alan Parker is known for his various films and achievements. He's the topic of film scholars, critics, and the Academy. What is it about Parker that's made him last the test of time? What has made him such a unique and exceptional director? I'm Faith Abraham, and please join me in discovering Alan Parker.
You always had such a pretty smile. Faye?
That consequently, this country is at war with Germany.
She steals your letters and whatever you send us. She hates us, and we hate her back.
Really beautiful, Lily. Can I kiss you?
This is America, pal, so remember, you're an American. We're at war now.
You got a stupid smile, you know that, pal? Can you see it? Huh? Go on. You smile when the bulldozer ran over the black kid's body? Get here! Get here! Get here!
Give me that again. Safe, yeah. Okay.
Are you afraid?
There were 35 judges on the High Court. 28 voted for a life sentence.
No one who looks through that glass sees a person, they see a crime. I'm not David Gale. I'm a murderer and a rapist, 4 days shy of his execution.
That's the baby Jesus. And if you ever need anything, you should pray to him. Will you tell Jesus that we're hungry? Shut up.
Battle Creek, you say? Well, what a coincidence. That's our destination, too. We're going to the sanitarium for the cure.
Oh, dear, so you are unwell.
Wheelchair immediately for Miss Lightbody. Hurry!
You like pigeons?
What's the like?
They fly.
They fly, so what?
That's enough.
Please join me in welcoming to the studio film student Carolina Martin. Hi, Carolina. How are you?
Hi, I'm well. How are you?
Good. So good to have you on the show.
Good to be here.
So, as a film student, what do you think that Alan Parker has done for the world of film?
Oh my goodness, I think he's contributed so much, just in the uniqueness of his films, because he kind of covers really every genre of film. You know, I think that he's just contributed great films to every area of the industry.
Do you think that, in comparison to maybe Spielberg or Scorsese, do you think that Parker is, well, first of all, do you think he's comparable to those people? And second of all, why?
I think he is comparable, just because of the quality of his work. Every film is just so rich, and so, I think, just so, like, unique to him. For sure, yeah, definitely.
Is one of his, do you have a, I guess, a more favorite film?
I do, yeah,
Okay.
Evita.
It's a really great film.
I love it.
Now, have you seen the theatrical production and then the film, or vice versa?
I haven't seen the theatrical production, but I know that it exists.
What can you tell us about some of the features of Evita that make it so unique?
I think the film version, just first of all, the story, you fall in love with the character. You absolutely fall in love with her. It's like as the people are falling in love with her, you're falling in love with her. It's like you experience everything so emotionally and so dramatically.
I think, because I've seen Evita as well, it was the acting, it was the coming together of all the parts that really showed that it was a strong film and that it had to have a strong director.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's a trait that he has, is he's a very strong, very controlled.
He definitely is, yeah. And all of his work is so aesthetically rich. Everything he does, all the way through, you could take any shot and match it with another shot from the film, and all of them, you'd be able to tell, oh, this is from the same movie. It's great.
Now, when it comes to aesthetically making this happen, if you were, say, for the people that aren't aware of film terminology, how would you explain that, maybe?
A lot of it has to do with the way that they color the film afterward in editing. They go back and you kind of put certain filters on it so that it looks the way you want it to. Evita has a very warm, kind of nostalgic feel to it, and they do that through editing. It's amazing.
Well, I think that element of it is something that, as an outsider, you don't look into, but it definitely makes or breaks the film.
Oh, absolutely. People forget about that. They just think about the director and the actor, but there's so many aspects to a film that really make it what it is.
I think, yeah, and I agree with you. I think that it's all the little parts that make the grand, you know.
Exactly.
The whole, oh, okay,
Yeah.
you know.
This is a movie.
Oh, this is it. So
Yeah.
this is what it takes.
Yeah.
But did you know that Parker actually began his career in commercials
Oh,
in
wow.
England, where he
I
is
did
from?
not.
Yeah, he has a wide variety of different commercials. So we're going to take a look at those really
All
quick.
right.
So if you wouldn't mind, you and I
Absolutely.
and the family members back home, let's take a look.
What are we going to order?
Better make it something fast.
Well, why don't we see if they have any bird's eye beef burgers? They're fast, ready in a jiffy. Delicious, too, especially those new pork burgers. Hey, they got a band.
Bird's eye beef burgers, when you've got to make it something fast.
Don't you think it's a bit blue, Maureen? Is that? Nah, too green. There, he's gone red. Is that better?
Food. Oh, out of this world, eh?
Wouldn't it be ridiculous if you had to fiddle and twiddle with what you look at in the world around you?
We used to have, and we'd have a ploughman's lunch. You know, Norman and Beerenheiser.
That's it.
Hold it there. It's called. Just
When you watch a Sony color television, it's just like watching real life, because Sony's unique Trinitron Plus system gives you a picture so sharp and color so natural, you take it for granted. Just like in real life. Sony, you won't see a picture more lifelike.
Chin Chin.
This isn't Cinzano, is it?
Oh, it is Cinzano. It's new.
Ah, Cinzano Rosé.
Rosé.
Oh, Mamma mia, but of course, Cinzano Rosé.
You speak Italian.
Oh, those aromatic herbs, and I bet it's made from... Yes, just as I thought, made from the finest Italian rosé wines. Yeah.
And it's wet, too.
Oh, the best rosés always are, my dear.
Now from Cinzano, Cinzano Rosé.
Those commercials.
Oh my goodness.
Can we just...
Yes,
Can we just talk
we
about
can.
the woman? I don't know who this was. I need to Google her, maybe.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Where is her famous
beef.
career?
Yeah, thank
Seriously.
You. Well, I mean, look out,
Perfect.
Sandra. Look out, Meryl. Here comes the bird's eye beef burger.
Burger girl. So funny. She's so cute. She's like, gosh, she's so funny. She's like, you remember her. I want a bird's eye beef burger.
If she shows up,
because they're ready
I
in
want
a
too.
jiffy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So do you think, I mean, looking at that, looking at his films, looking at his work, looking at his commercials, do you see parallels in that he's very creative?
Yes.
He has a
Oh my
very
goodness.
large picture, large
Definitely.
concept.
And just like I said before about how his films are very aesthetically the same throughout the film, his commercials are the same way. Like, every commercial we just saw was very, like, aesthetically rich. There was no question as to, like, what genre there was or where they were from. It was all very obvious to you. Everything in the Bird's Eye Burger commercial, the guy, the bartender, he's like, oh, gotta cover my family. Like, who thinks of that? You know? They're just so well done.
I think when I liked that one, and I liked the Cinzano with
Yes.
Joan Collins. Who doesn't love
Oh,
Joan Collins?
hey.
Child of the 90s. I love me some
my
Joan
goodness.
Collins. No, I think that she's, because I mean she's a famous British actress. I think it's really
Right,
funny
right.
that you see her with like the kind of awkward guy, but
Right,
and it's
yeah.
because I mean it's just a commercial. It's something very simple, but it tells a story.
It does,
and
absolutely.
it sells the product.
You get the idea of who he is, who she is. So then guys who are kind of subpar are like, hey, I'm going to get with a lady like that if I have a rosé.
Yeah. Hey, we don't blame it. No, I really like that there's this story. It's funny. There's like that, that British humor, the
Yeah,
wit.
it's great.
And it's really dry, but
Dry
it's classic.
humor, but it's great.
What would we do without it? But no, interesting that we would go from his commercials, from his films, and now to see him overall and to see his vision. Let's take a look at what he has to say, why he does it, and how he does his films.
What is it that you get from movie making?
I mean, as a creative art form, it's quite unique in so much as there are so many different areas that I have to be involved with, and I have to care about, and I have the final say on, that involves so many different sides of whatever abilities one has. And I love that, just the variation of everything that you have to do.
But the variation of content, but the continuance of having control. I mean, is that what the pleasure is? Having the say, being in charge, you and 1,000 extras, you and a big crew, you and a great cast.
Yeah, I mean, it says an Alan Parker film, and it ought to be. And in that regard, I am involved with every single tiny aspect, in every single area of it, and I'm quite proud that I am. Control, yeah, I've always said that film directing is a crash course in megalomania. It's very, once you've had control, you can't give it up.
Never.
I don't think that, I mean, of all my films have ended up exactly as I wanted them to be. Whether people liked them or didn't like them or went to see them or didn't go to see them, I can't blame anyone else but me.
Parker is definitely an artist.
Oh, for sure.
His overall vision, his, being a part of the film, being a part of the production.
Yeah, he's all over it. He's in every part of it. It's in every sense of the word his film.
Now I know that you are a student and you hope to pursue this career.
Yeah.
Do you want to be as not necessarily controlling, but do you want to be as involved as Parker? A little less, a little more?
Absolutely as involved.
Okay.
Because I think that if it's your vision, you need to be able to, you need to know everything. You need to be involved with everyone from like your production designer to the gaffers. Like you need to know everybody. You need to know what they're doing. But I think at the same time, as a student, it would be better for me to not be as, definitely be involved, but not as controlling. Because he said it himself, he's a very controlling director. And that's good for him because he's great. He knows what he's doing. But I think that me as a film student coming into the industry, I would definitely do better kind of trusting everyone to do their jobs.
Now, if you were to take classes or courses, or if you were to advise someone, would you say take a plethora of courses, take the lighting classes or the aesthetic classes?
Absolutely. I think that, especially in undergrad, it's good to know everything. I think that in undergrad it's good to kind of be a jack of all trades in a sense, like know everything, so that way when you do go to direct, you can. Also, you can get work that way, So I think that it's good to know about everything, and then once you're older, it's better to be more specialized.
No, I think you're right. I think that there's definitely, it's hard. I can imagine it being very hard to be a director because there's so many little tasks in a large project, and he has to oversee all of it and make sure that not only is it being done correctly, but it's doing to the standard that he wants.
Exactly, so you have to be very task-oriented and also very goal-oriented, You have to do both.
Do you think a lot of directors have a production team that follows them, or do they usually try to pick maybe the same type of people over and over again because they're comfortable with them?
I've heard both. I've heard that some directors usually pick the same people, especially a lot of directors who, the not Steven Spielbergs, just directors in general, they usually have their own team that they're like, oh, I know I can call this person, because once you work with someone, they know you're reliable.
They know your work, they know what they're getting themselves into. Well, hopefully, I'd like to think that once you're into that industry, you can maybe find your niche, not necessarily right away, but you'll be able to find your team, your group.
Exactly.
And then, because I think once you find that solid...
Yeah, then you can grow, because then you get to know each other, so that on set working together, you don't necessarily always have to have a conversation with them. You can just, you know, like look at them a certain way and they'll know what you want them to do.
Right, it's not like I have to explain everything out verbatim
Exactly.
to these people. They're going to know
They
what
would
I want
know.
and
Yeah.
how to do it. Well, we're going to speak a little bit more on a darker subject now, Mississippi Burning. We're going to take a look at one of the more controversial projects of Parker's. Let's take a look together, shall we?
I am sick and tired of going to the funerals of black men who have been murdered by white men.
They are powerless against us if every single Anglo-Saxon Christian one of us stands together.
The rest of America don't see it that way, Mr. Mayor.
The rest of America don't mean a damn thing. You in Mississippi now.
You had us scared to death, man.
Don't you call me man, boy.
Did it ever occur to them they're gonna end up dead?
The moment those 3 kids disappeared, it was news.
The moment the 3 civil rights workers disappeared, it was news.
Somebody's called nothing to stand up. Get out of here.
You'd kill Frank? Is that what you're saying? I wouldn't give it no more thought than wringing a cat's neck.
These people crawled out of a sewer, Mr. Ward.
We do not accept Jews because they reject Christ. We do not accept Papists because they bow to a Roman dictator. We do not accept Turks, Orientals, nor Negroes.
We're not killers. That's the difference between them and us. That's the difference between them and you.
Did you smile when the bulldozer ran over the black kid's body?
We're here to protect Anglo-Saxon democracy and the American way.
What's wrong with these people?
1964, when America was at war with itself.
Please welcome to the studio, Eric Moore. How are you, Eric?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Good. So how is it to be a film critic these days?
It's pretty good, I would say. I mean, there's lots of movies out there, so a lot we can talk about, you know?
You must not be the most loved man in Hollywood,
No,
but
not-
you know.
unfortunately
But I'm sure
not.
it pays the bills.
Yes, it does.
I'd like to think, you know. So we just watched some clips from Mississippi Burning.
Yes.
What do you have to say about the film?
I thought it was very, like, for its time, it was very groundbreaking. I mean, especially covering such a topic of, like, you know, of, like, race and everything. It's really a deep topic to cover. I thought it was really groundbreaking and kind of different, too, you know?
Parker is, and obviously from England, he is I guess you could say, an outside looking in. Do you think that's appropriate when you're looking at historical pieces? Because there's not necessarily a bias?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, I think, like, coming from England or a different country like that, it kind of gives America, like you said, an outside take on what actually happened in that time. And yeah, it really does give like something kind of different, you know, 'cause instead of focusing like mainly like on the African American side or you know the Caucasian side or whatever you want to call it, or the legal side, they like it kind of just gives a different take, I guess, if that makes sense, you know.
Yeah, I think it was almost like a research project. That's how I look at it. As, you know, if you were raised in the South maybe at that time or in the North, and then you looked at it, you may have a different perspective.
Yeah.
But he looked at it as, I just want to give the facts, I want to
Exactly.
give a good story,
Exactly.
and I want to show the people what I believed happened during that time.
Exactly.
Do you think that he does a good job at executing certain emotions and provoking things out of people?
Yeah, I could definitely say so. I mean, if you look at the film, you see lots of parts that are really, you know, heart-wrenching. You know, like there's parts when there's, I think, like if I remember correctly, there's a part when like they showed like not the young boys getting murdered, but like the aftermath of it, and it kind of like showed the heart, you know, like, how the families felt and how the community around them felt. It was kind of, you know, definitely emotional, I'd say.
When you watch, you know, films like these or movie, anything that has darker matter from, you know, from a different country's past, it's hard because you want to, you know, you want to reflect upon it because then you can grow and say, okay, we'll never go back and we'll keep this, you know, this and this. But that you actually watch it, and it's hard to watch such a dark, intense, you know, subject matter, I guess.
Yeah.
Do you think that Parker will be known for this film for the next for the next generations to come, or?
I mean, I'd definitely say it's probably his most famous film. I mean, because like I never really knew of Alan Parker before I was like, you know, start watching his other movies, but like I've always heard of Mississippi Burning, and I've seen it tons of times on television and things like that. I think I've seen it like the first time when I was like 12 or 11 or something like that. So yeah, I definitely would say it's going to be around for a long time, and it's a really, really intense movie, you know, and I think people should always watch it, you know.
Do you think that this film would open the door for future directors to create unbiased productions?
Yeah, I definitely would say so. I mean, like, if you even look at a lot of the films that are out now, a lot of the films are, I would say, like, they take some elements from his movies, you know what I mean? So, I mean, you look at The Butler, or I think 12 Years a Slave that just came out. Yeah, a lot of those movies, even though they're not the same topic, they still have, like, elements from what he was doing, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yeah, I think he did a wonderful job at executing a great storyline, which is, I think, the hardest part. And then to really show, you know, the animosity, the craziness that was during that time period. And I was really impressed by it. I watched a part of it myself. I didn't get to watch the whole thing, honestly, but I watched, you know, and I was very impressed.
Yes.
But did you know that Parker actually has a large musical collection of films?
No, I
Yeah,
did
he's
not know.
really big in that
Yeah.
genre. It's really great. So we're going to take a look at some of his musicals, and then hopefully you'll be able to describe to us how he did a lot of the production.
No problem.
Your name Robinson? You work with Fat Sam?
Anybody who is, anybody will soon walk through that door. At Fat Sam's Grand Slam, speak easy.
Nice to meet you. I'm Bugsy Malone.
Don't call us, we'll call you.
Tuesday. Okay, everyone, big serious.
Show me a man that's got a good woman. Show me a man out there who's got a good woman. Show me.
Who are your influences? Led Zeppelin, Sinead O'Connor,
Joan Baez, Joni Mitchell,
Wings.
I'm black and I'm proud.
Need no education. We don't need no thought control.
I love Evita. I love Madonna.
Yeah.
Love Evita. Sorry.
Madonna's pretty cool,
Maybe
I'd say.
I'm a little prejudiced, maybe just a little bit against her. Love her. What is your favorite musical of Parker's?
I'd probably say The Commitments. I love that movie so much. It was, like, great.
I know. I was watching. I was like, okay, Ireland. I see you in the
Yeah.
struggle. Like I was not aware of that.
Yeah.
It was really. I think it was really cool. The concept, and then to go from Mississippi Burning to like,
Yeah.
I'm black and I'm proud. Like it just shows how open he is and how
Yeah.
funny and that. And I don't know. It just talks a lot about his character that he's very open to everything, and I like it.
I'd definitely say so.
Do you like the music in The Commitments? Is that the reason why, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think I like the humor in The Commitments. It's so raw, it's so edgy, you know, it's crazy, but it's funny on top of it, you know?
Yeah, it's very, it's cool to see the dynamic of the group come together, and then you see, you know, how they end up developing their show, and I don't know. I was really impressed by it.
Yeah, I'd say so.
You had mentioned earlier before the show that you like Pink Floyd, the Pink Floyd
Yeah,
film? Okay.
Pink Floyd The Wall was pretty awesome. I mean, like, I think it gave the best representation, like, of their album. I think, like, it was the best possible way you could show, like, I guess, like a music video type of a film. So I think he did a good job at that, yeah.
Do you think so then I guess it's a large-scale musical?
Yeah, I would say so.
How long is the film? Do you have any idea, by chance?
Oh, I'm not really sure. I think it's like an hour long, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure, though, to be honest. I'd have to take a look at it again.
I wonder if that's an interesting concept. I wonder if he was one of the first people to innovate, you know, this large, like a long music video.
I'm not sure. I mean, I don't even know what year it came out, but it was very good. I mean, I like the fact that it combined like some animation with like live action. You know, that's kind of hard to do, you know, but I think he pretty much pulled it off pretty well.
Now, have you seen Evita?
No, I have not actually. That was one movie. I know you said you love Madonna, but I haven't had a chance to see it yet.
I think I only have one. I love Madonna, but I recently I read an article, and Meryl Streep was supposed to be Evita.
She was?
Let me just tell you.
Oh my gosh.
Meryl.
Yeah. She's
Please.
a great actress.
No, I think Madonna did a great job though. At the end of the day, I'm not mad at it. I'm really happy with her being Evita. So.
I mean, I think like Madonna adds like a little, even though she's kind of an edgy, you know, musician, everybody knows that, she still adds like a little class to it, you know, because she still has that element in her, you know. So.
Well, no, she has a lot of the elements. I mean, she's a dancer, she's a singer, she has great stage presence, and I think she has the fan bases too.
Exactly.
I mean, people want to see it because they know the musical, but then they go, oh, Madonna.
Yeah.
So you get the double effect of, oh, I like both.
She brings something new to the table, I would say. Yeah.
I really, you'll have to go home. I'll have to let you borrow it. I'll have to like mail it to you or something because it's great.
Yeah.
Is there anything, just really quick before we end, is there anything unique you'd like to say about Parker's work that could just really explain him as a director?
I mean, I would think Parker, I mean, he's definitely going to be remembered for, I would say, a long time, just because his movies are very, you know it's his movies when you watch it, you know. I would say, a perfectionist when it comes to movies, you know. I mean, he's detailed with everything, and he's involved in his films. So I definitely say he would be here for a long time, and people are going to remember him. But yeah, I mean, he's just an amazing director, I'd say.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Eric, and thank all of you. I hope you have a great week. Have a good night.
That was pretty awesome.